Let's talk Hatan. Today we have this great privilege of speaking with Dr. Jörg Poster, who is the Director General of the German Institute Taipei, who has this extensive diplomatic experience and also a very personal deep tie to Taiwan. And his perspective and meaningful insight will bring us his entire journey from Germany to Taiwan and how this connects both of our countries. So today we're very, very honored to talk to him. Welcome, Dr. Jörg Poster, for joining us.
Good morning.
Speaking of your journey in Taiwan, it's very interesting. You mentioned that you first landed on this island in 1999, and then you joined us as the Director General, and during the COVID pandemic. So what was the entire journey look like? Can you give our audience a brief experience what's like?
I came in summer of 21. For that 1 year until autumn 22, there was basically nobody. Definitely nobody coming from Germany to Taiwan, and very few who traveled from Taiwan to Germany. This was very disappointing because diplomacy is based on exchanges and personnel.
Indeed.
Traveling and personal meetings. Yeah, you can do this to some extent via the internet, but that's not the same. Yeah? So I'm very happy that we are back to normal, both in the exchange we have with everybody in Taiwan, but also with the number of guests we have. And we then starting in September, October 22, it went up very strongly, and everybody came traveling and wanted to see Taiwan after the pandemic.
As you just mentioned, it must be a very disappointing experience to be doing, for aiming to boost the connection between people from two sides, but then seeing no people able to come to Taiwan, and then you have to work double hard on to build this bridge, this connection. What kind of cooperation between Germany and Taiwan has blossomed since then?
Yeah, everything in the end. I mean, at the end of 21, our then new government started to work in Berlin, and the basic document they used for the coalition government already mentioned Taiwan, that we would like to foster the exchange. Also, of course, the issue of the Taiwan Strait. And then this was put into practice, and many guests came to Taiwan. I think the highlight was the visit of Minister Stark-Watzinger, in charge of science, education, training, because this is where we now have a very strong exchange with Taiwan. So there's a lot of substance in this. And just 1 year after that, 23,台积電, TSMC, decided to build a factory in Dresden, in Saxony. And this, of course, gave another push to the development of our exchanges.
As you just mentioned about this new plant of TSMC in Germany, it definitely caught a lot of attention. And also, can you also tell us what kind of development has been going on, the technology cooperation, also, the talent flow between Germany and Taiwan? How's that going?
I have to add that the exchange did not just start with the decision by TSMC to go to Germany. We have had, in particular, academic exchange for many years with very different universities here in Taiwan and also in Germany. But then, of course, now it gets a little bit more focused to everything semiconductor. And given that particular project, it necessitates a lot of input and a lot of expertise. So what the government of Saxony, the federal state of Saxony, decided to do and put into practice was indeed an academic exchange from their side. They sent students to Taiwan. I received the first batch, if I may say, last spring. And they spent 4 months in Taipei, at that time at the Taida, and then another 2 months in Taichung as a kind of an internship with TSMC to see how it is to work with TSMC. These are students, so after those 6 months they went back home. They still have to finish their studies, do the exams, but they know already that would be a chance, yeah, whenever this factory of TSMC will be ready. The assessment is it might be in 26. We will see how that works out. Yeah? That there is already a pool of young people who may start to work with TSMC at that point of time.
So we can definitely expect a drastic growth of this part.
For sure. And this is supported by the German government, as we see an increasing need for anything electronic, digital, including the chips, of course. You may have seen the news that TSMC will then open a design center in the city of Munich, in the south of Germany, to be closer together with customers. So that would be already the second leg for TSMC to be active in Germany. Yeah? And as it will bring with it also a further increase of exchange then. Yeah? And it's not just the students, we also have this with professors, researchers going both ways. Yeah? So this is growing for sure. Yeah?
Now we're switching to a more current situation now happening in the Taiwan Strait. With your extensive experience in some of the conflict zones, what are your thoughts on what's currently going
on? When I think back at my first posting to Taipei, to Taiwan, 25 years ago, things were also not that calm, difficult at times. I recall prior to my arrival here, 1996, for instance. But in general terms, it appeared to be more smooth and all these difficulties easier to overcome than today. So it's definitely less stable and comfortable than it used to be. So the question then is what to do about this. There is of course no easy solution. Yeah? We have a German term, Königsweg, where we say, okay, that's a simple way out. It doesn't exist. Yeah? So I can only hope that things may improve over time. That would be my wish to everybody. When I just talked about the German experiences from 80 years ago, I may add a personal element to it. My parents are both what it was called war babies, because they were born exactly at the eve of the Second World War. And I recall the stories they tell me, just a few glimpses. These are very difficult memories from that time. Something you would not wish for your children to have. So peace is of utmost importance, that things stay peaceful, and a solution is be found to do this. Actually, the German government has been very supportive to the Taiwanese cause, always telling, and this is now also again in our document, which is the basis for the two parties to govern Germany right now, for the coalition government, that if things are going to change, they should change peacefully and in a way that both parties are comfortable with these changes. Again, I may take reference to the German, maybe to the more recent German history here. We had two Germanys over many, many years, decades actually. So the element of time is also pretty important to this, because in the German case, these two Germanys coexisted, as I said, rather comfortably for many, many years. But then things started to change, 1988, in particular 1989. And the trigger for this actually came from abroad. Of course, there were changes inside, for sure, definitely in East Germany, where I come from. But Hungary opened what we called the Iron Curtain, opening the border to Austria, which was in early 1989. But the real trigger actually came already earlier than that. In 1985, I was in Moscow at that time. Mr. Gorbachev came to power, and with him, what he called Glasnost and Perestroika. This changed the Soviet Union, And it also changed East Germany then. And you may recall, I'm not sure to what extent this is still remembered here in Taiwan. Mr. Gorbachev also came to Taiwan.
Yeah.
So the head of the TSE, CEO Huang, invited him and had a discussion with him here. A historic figure, definitely for us. So just to look at this, time is an important element. I mean, in your culture, it's called Uchang. Everything is changing. And the other element is that you may have your thoughts how things should go, but as in our case, it may happen somewhere else, that the trigger comes from the outside. And
that's a very interesting
things start to develop in a way which definitely we did not anticipate.
Switching gears a little bit, on a more personal note, you have a unique, bond with Taiwan as a son-in-law. So, but after your current tenure, what's your plan? How do you see Taiwan playing in your life?
It definitely will play an important role. We discussed this at home, what the best way is to do this, and we will decide very soon on how to handle this. But Taiwan will definitely be a very important place for me and, of course, for my Taiwanese wife, yes.
Yeah, and you also spoken about climbing Yushan as your dream. Have you successfully fulfilled that dream yet?
I still have not. I was pretty close. We did this with colleagues roughly 23 years ago. Unfortunately, being already pretty much up into the mountains, we had a snowstorm and ice. And our guides told us, no.
That sounds very dangerous.
They told us, okay, that's it. We have to accept nature. And so we took some glimpses and then we walked back down. So we went pretty close.
Almost there.
Yeah, almost there. And that's still on my to-do list to go up there, for sure. Yes. Those 4 years, which now come to an end for me here as a Director General, they were pretty filled with many activities. And I traveled to many places. I just back from Penghu. Went to other places, on the islands, the small islands, but also on Taiwan proper. As I said, we had many guests. There was no real peace at heart to say, now I go to conquer Mount Yushan. I will do that in proper time.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, Taiwan has a lot of natural beauty. Yushan is one of it, and you mentioned Penghu. And how do you see Taiwan's natural beauty how it's inspired you, and maybe more connection? Prior to this interview, we discussed about a lot of sports events, also connecting both sides of the people, natural environments, all kinds of collaboration. Can you also talk us through about it?
Yeah. Now, what we talked about the exchange, let's say, in more formal ways, the political sphere. The German industry is very active in Taiwan, and now Taiwanese companies go to Germany in large numbers. But an exchange also in terms of tourists for once, who now come in bigger numbers to Taiwan. But then also what we call the civil society, where you don't have any input by the government, but they do this on their own. And one particular example I cherish a lot goes back to the earthquakes we talked about. The big one, Jawari, where experts from Germany came to help. And one team of them, they brought the rescue dogs. And based on that cooperation at Jawari and the aftermath, they established an exchange all the time, just with a brief interruption during the pandemic, that the experts come to Taiwan to take part in the training of the rescue dogs in Nantou, the big training ground, and the Taiwanese trainers go to Germany to take part over there. This is one very nice element. Another one which I'm very fond of, which not only have the students going both ways, we also have the pupils Yeah. One gentleman from the German community here put together this little booklet, which is about the exchanges between the schools. So you have quite a number of schools in Taipei, Taoyuan, many places, who then take the youngsters for a tour to Germany, and the Germans also come here. And they also have the chance to use the internet, to have a video link, to talk to each other, then in English language, first of all. Yeah? So this is very nice as well. And another one, now when we talk about high tech and the semiconductors,
yes.
This is of course very much important. Another element is agriculture, farmers. The Taiwanese government introduced a competition which we have had for many, many years, and actually modeled after the German competition. 这个农村金牌.
农村金牌.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sounds very fancy, this name.
Oh, for sure. And that is. I already now participated twice in the award ceremony.
What's it about?
It's basically the interest to say who is the most beautiful village in Taiwan or in Germany for our competition.
Oh, okay. Got
And
it.
people living in those villages, they go the extra mile, the extra effort to make their
To like
village
brand,
a better
do
place.
branding the
Yeah.
village.
And do this in many, many ways. And then after the ceremony, there was the chance for the winners, part of them, to travel to Germany to meet their counterparts.
Oh, that's a great prize.
And at the award ceremony, we had some of the mayors from German villages, the winners of the German competition, to come to Taiwan.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And this is, of course, an important element because you see this here in Taiwan, and in some ways we also have this in Germany, that parents want to have a better life for their children, which may not be in the village. So everybody is moving to the big towns. Yeah?
Yeah.
Who is staying in the village? Who is producing food? Yeah? And not just, let's say, in the plains, yeah? In the western part of Taiwan, in Ilan. The question came up from the universities here and say, what do we do about these villages up in the mountains? So they traveled to Germany and looked what we do with our villages in the mountains for farmers to stay there and not just give up and come down and go to the big cities. A lot's going on. This was just told in Panghu when we went over there with the Ministry of Agriculture, what they do in the community life to support the elderly, yeah? Preparing food, activities. Yeah? Taiwanese society is turning older, German society as well. That would be an interesting topic also for an exchange. Say, what do you do and what do we do?
Yes.
Yeah? And learn from each other.
Very, very.
Next step is healthcare. Yeah? We had guests from Germany talking to the NHI, say how healthcare and the insurance is organized in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah? So plenty of topics.
Very, very diverse. Today,
Oh, yes.
today we discuss about the history, discuss about the culture, and also technology, all kinds of collaboration in school and also in village. It's very, very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing with us your expertise, your experience, and also very exciting for the path of Germany and Taiwan in the future. I wish you all the best of success climbing Yushan. Please let me know how that goes, and I will do the challenge too.
I will do, and all the best to you, covering
Thank you.
Taiwan and in particular then also the Taiwan-German
Thank you so much.
relations.
Thank
Thank you very much.